Morning, afternoon. It's 20 after 12 here on election day, and we're moving and grooving at a snail's pace. However, if there's some confusion as to where I was at yesterday on the last video I made, you ain't the only one. What a colossal hodgepodge it was. I don't know what had happened. Maybe I got some bad coffee or something. But anyhow, I apologize for any confusion that I have caused in the last video. We could maybe we could just disregard that one. Whatever you can glean from it, okay. But we're going to start over here. So I want to look at in your trusty King James Bible is Second Corinthians 3, verse 4, verse 5. It says, "Not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of God." Boy, does that ever tie the rag on the bush. That sums up the deeper life very, very soundly. And we're no sufficient of ourselves. We put no confidence in the flesh. We don't figure that we're good enough to drive a wheelbarrow, let alone walk the Christian life with the Lord. But that doesn't stop there. It's not an exercise of self-loathing and low self-esteem or whatever. That's not it. Uh, the person that's empowering us makes us basically a superhero, right? Uh, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me, right? So uh, look here. He says, verse 6, who also made us able ministers, right? Paul is saying, Paul's the greatest Christian that ever lived that we know of. And he says, we're not sufficient. But then, the next verse, he says, who hath made us able ministers in the New Testament, of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. The letter of the law killeth, right? For the letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. So that's a good lesson for everybody who's been a parent, everybody who's ever been a preacher or a teacher of the gospel or anything like that, that the letter of the law killeth. You can uh, what Jesus used to say was straining at a gnat, straining at a knot, straining at a gnat to swallow a camel. And that's the letter of the law. This is what the law says, and we must obey this no matter what, with no thought, with no, we must wear this. Why? Uh, because we don't want to get sick. But this doesn't restrain what the sickness is. It is will go through the porous covering of this. And so what happens is, well, I know, but I'm going to do it anyway. Why? Because this is the letter of the law. The letter of the law killeth. That's what that is. When you see, someone alone in a vehicle with this, that is the letter of the law. If I have my magic garment on, nothing can hurt me. A lot of people, it's been back when they were just bringing in seatbelts, and everybody was encouraged to wear seatbelts, and then it was a law, and now everybody has to wear a seatbelt. But you could see, it seems like a lot of people drove more recklessly. Now I have my magic belt on, and nothing can hurt me. Some people drove like they figured they were invincible as long as they got their magic belt on. It's like, what was that? Oh, Sinbad the Sailor. He was a cartoon character. Sinbad the Sailor, a mighty belt is he. He pulls his belt with all of his might. A mighty sailor is he. I was about 11 years old and used to watch that. Sinbad the Sailor. So as long as he pulled his belt really tight, and then his muscles bulged out, and he could beat all his enemies. And a lot of people look at things like, they put on their magic seat belt, they have their magic whatever it is, they put it on their face, and all of a sudden nothing can hurt them. And that's okay when you're 11 years old and you're watching cartoons, but if you're a full grown man or woman, I mean, come on. So it's the letter of the law. The letter of the law kills, it killeth, and the Spirit giveth life. The Spirit of God breathes into you, gives you life. It quickens uh, your spirit. Your soul is then, as we covered many times, is cut away. Your flesh is cut away from your soul, and you walk in abundant life, in the newness of life. Romans chapter 6. All right, that's good for today. When they say the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, it's not a license to sin. It's not that at all. It's just that the letter, the law is the end result is death. And the Mosaic law, the end result was Christ's death. He provided the penalty for which the law demands. And so it ends with his death. And because of him, we're not under the law anymore. We're under the law of the Spirit. Okay, isn't that great? Isn't that cause for rejoicing? Never mind Sinbad the Sailor or anything else you want to put on to give you this magical power. If you've put on Christ, you have all the power that you need. He's all sufficient. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.